The Special Olympics, the world's largest sports organization for children and adults with intellectual disabilities and physical disabilities, says that 1 to 3% of the global population has some level of intellectual disability. This means it affects the lives of at least 200 million people, not including family members and advocates, who have to deal with many physical challenges, apart from the stigmas they usually face. But in today's video, you'll find out about the first two men who researched the situation. We'll examine the lives of Dr. Jean Attard and Dr. Edward Seguin, two men who changed the world. What is an intellectual disability? An intellectual disability, ID, is a generalized neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by significantly impaired intellectual and adaptive functioning. It is defined by having an IQ under 70, in addition to deficits in 2 or more adaptive behaviors that affect everyday general living. There are many causes for ID, and some of them are genetics, caused by abnormal genes inherited from parents, errors when genes combine, or other reasons. Pregnancy, when the baby does not develop inside the mother properly. Birth complications, such as a baby not getting enough oxygen. Diseases like whooping cough, measles, or meningitis can cause intellectual disabilities. Toxic exposure. This can happen when the baby is exposed to alcohol, cigarettes, or poisons such as mercury. Brain injuries. And this happens if the child suffers an accident where his brain gets some sort of damage. The treatment is predominantly non-medical. It involves education to achieve maximum learning potential, habilitation, vocational training, and normalization of social and recreational activities. A short but life-changing partnership. Seguin was born on January 20th, 1812 in Clamcy, and Attard was born on April 24th, 1774 in Provence. Their paths crossed in 1837. Seguin studied and worked under Attard, who was an educator of deaf-mute individuals. That included the famous case of Victor of Avignon. Seguin was persuaded to dedicate himself to studying the causes and the training of individuals with intellectual disabilities. Now, unfortunately, their partnership didn't last long. Attard passed away in 1838, leaving a legacy that young Seguin could carry on for all of his life. Around 1840, he established the first private school in Paris, dedicated to individuals with intellectual disabilities. In 1846, he published the earliest systematic textbook dealing with the needs of children with intellectual disabilities. Seguin died in 1880. He received an MD from the University of New York and made efforts to improve the conditions of children with disabilities at Randall's Island Asylum. Seguin's discoveries on intellectual disability. And this is what Seguin said. ID is a specific infirmity produced by a deficiency of nutrition. It incapacitates mostly the functions which give rise to the reflex, instinctive and conscious phenomena of life. Consequently, the person moves, feels, understands, wills, but all imperfectly. He believed those with ID could be trained and could learn to do things. Therefore, he spent much of his time focusing on vocational training and self-care skills. This was a view that opposed the prevailing idea that ID could not be eased or sufferers improved. It turns out he wasn't wrong at all. The term intellectual disability has had many names and references, but in October 2010, Congress passed Rosa's Law, which changed references of mental retardation in specified federal laws to intellectual disability. Despite what it was called in the past, Seguin and Attard are responsible for the advances and the discoveries about intellectual disabilities. Thanks to them, doctors and advocates understand the causes and possible treatments to make the lives of people with ID better. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with all the people you know who support someone with developmental disabilities. And remember, First Choice Family Services is your information resource for the DSP industry.